Welcome back to the weekly tasting. I'm Laura Manick, Master Sommelier, and your host for this week's pack, which is the road trip through California. This is the road trip you've always been dreaming about. Actually, I took a road trip with my best friend Karen through California when we were just about 21 years old. This trip that we're going to take with this week's pack is very, very similar to what we did. So imagine, California is a big place. We have Northern California, Central California, and Southern California. And I thought that this week it would be really fun to focus on classic grape varietals that you've heard of, such as Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Cabernet, but really from the places that they deserve to be in California. So California is our wine country. It's in our backyard. It is such an amazing, beautiful place. There's no trouble ripening grapes, so you have sunshine, but these little areas within California, these microclimates, if you will, provide these different styles of wine. So in this week's pack, we have a delicious Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc grows just like all the other Bordeaux grapes very, very well in Napa Valley. And this one in particular is that citrus style of lemon, lime, and grapefruit, but really finishes herbaceous. Then we have a Chardonnay, which is from Santa Maria Valley, one of the most beautiful places in Santa Barbara, where Chardonnay is just opulent and rich, but very silky, very citrusy, and just tastes like the perfect Chardonnay, even if you don't love Chardonnay. Then Pinot Noir from Monterey County. Pinot Noir is, as you know, a red fruit, kind of cranberry, raspberry, strawberry flavor. This one in particular is a little bit of a lighter version, being that it's from Monterey, which is a cooler climate. It's perfect for fish. And then last but not least at all is Cabernet Sauvignon, one of everyone's favorite grapes. And this one is from Sonoma County. You're gonna love this pack. I can't wait to hear all about your thoughts. So we're doing things a little bit different this week, and I often try the wines in the order that I recommend you try them in the pack. So I usually start with my 2 whites, and then I have my 2 reds if it's a 4-pack with 2 whites and 2 reds. This week, I thought, what's really important about wine is that you solidify things in your head based on experiences. So like us tasting together every week, it's an experience. It's one of the things I look forward to the most, but it's also an opportunity for you to say, oh yeah, I remember learning about California, and I remember where Laura started. So we're gonna start in the South. It's not the southernmost region in California, but as far as like fine wine growing regions go, it's one of the furthest or close to being far south. And this first wine is Chardonnay. So Chardonnay, in this case, is from Santa Maria Valley, which is a region in Santa Barbara County. So this J. Wilkes Chardonnay, Santa Maria Valley, is 2013, and it is a Chardonnay that you would love. I mean, when I think of Chardonnay, I often think about apples and pears. A lot of people say Chardonnay equals oak, and in this case, they would be right. There is a vanilla and a custard and a lemon lime peel thing going on here. And a really creamy, almost buttery texture. So this one is about medium to medium plus in body. It's a long, lingering, I would say like butter is the primary flavor in the wine. And it's really delicious. It just kind of screams for anything that you would think about that you would put butter on. So for example, lobster or crab or sweet corn in the middle of the summer is perfect. I actually think that one of the best pairings for Chardonnay is buttered popcorn. So that's what this tastes like. Hope you enjoy. How many of you love Pinot Noir? Well, Pinot Noir is one of the most popular grapes, and it's certainly a grape that is very versatile. It's a grape that pretty much goes with anything. Pinot Noir, the reason it's a red wine that most people think is important for the dinner table is because it is low in tannin, and tannins are the drying sensation in your mouth, like all of the moisture is dried out. Well, Pinot Noir, the texture is very, very silky. So this wine, which is from Monterey County, just south of San Francisco. Monterey County is not far from Carmel. It's a slightly cooler climate, and this is a wine that is from that county, and it's a lighter example than, let's say, Sonoma County or Russian River Valley Pinot Noir. It's a very small production winery. It's called Metz Winery, and for me, when I smell Pinot Noir, and especially this one, I have, strawberries and raspberries. In this case, it's almost like a wild strawberry and hibiscus, like a tea or a dried potpourri. There's a lot of cola berry and sassafras, like sort of those Dr. Pepper or sweet spices. Those spices come from oak, and so you have a little bit of vanilla and clove and almost like a cinnamon stick. Very classic Pinot Noir, which, what does that mean, Laura? This is a wine that is silky in texture, kind of coats and glides in your mouth, but really finishes with that nice little bit of mouth puckering acidity and all of that red fruit. I love this wine. It's so good. Okay, we're back to white wine with wine number 3, and the only reason I'm tasting in this order is kind of driving from the south, starting to meander your way up the coast of California. So you started in Santa Barbara, and if you're driving north, you'll pass Monterey, and then you get to the Napa Valley. And if you know Napa Valley, or if you've ever been there, it is just incredibly stunning. So many great wine regions, so many great wineries, so many great things to do. So is my love for Napa Valley that I'm getting married there. And I just really can't say enough about Napa Valley. In general, California, it's like wine country in your backyard. So moving on, wine number 3, it's Milliken Creek. You probably know and love Sauvignon Blanc, and this particular wine is from Napa Valley. And so in some cases, Sauvignon Blanc you can find with oak, and sometimes you don't find oak. In this instance, there's Sauvignon Blanc that does not have oak. So it's more of like a Sancerre style, or if you love and know New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, it's similar, but maybe a little bit fuller bodied than that. So most of the Sauvignon Blanc that you'll try has citrus. In this particular instance, it's not like lemon or lime, but it's rather a little bit more ripe citrus, like tangerines, clementines, oranges. And it almost has like a tropical aroma, like guava or papaya, which makes it perfect for ceviche and some of those kind of like more exotic foods, even Thai food and papaya salad and, spring rolls or summer rolls. Yeah, this one, and a lot of Sauvignon Blanc, but this one in particular, it's all about passion fruit, guava, and a little bit of savory notes, like slightly herbaceous. And you might have heard that word before, and herbaceous is simply like, it reminds me of herbs. So I have a vegetable garden with some herbs upstairs, and it really feels like I just cut off some fresh thyme or oregano, and that little bit of herbaceous quality that you can smell is in this glass. And sometimes even like tomato leaf. So if you're growing any tomatoes at home, I recommend you go out to your garden and just smell the leaves of those tomatoes, and then come back and try this wine, because this is really like that savory green herb. And one of the reasons that Sauvignon Blanc, and especially this one, goes so well with vegetables is because herbs in a wine, or something that is slightly vegetal or herbaceous, will go really well with hard to pair items like Brussels sprouts or artichokes. Whereas wines that are really fruity, let's say our California Chardonnay that has butter and apple and pear, that might not go as well with like artichokes. So I hope you enjoy this wine and go out and make some Brussels sprouts. Last but not least, we have Cabernet Sauvignon, which is almost everyone is familiar with it. And in this case, this is Windmill Valley Cabernet Sauvignon, which is a wine from Sonoma County. So just so you know, Sonoma and Napa are parallel to each other. Actually, Sonoma is closer to the ocean, which is the Pacific Ocean. There's a mountain range in between Sonoma and Napa, which is called the Mayacamas Mountain Range. And then there's Napa Valley, and then finally another mountain range called the Vaca Mountain Range. Anyway, Cabernet Sauvignon, what's it all about? Well, it is for most people a grape that reminds them of like black fruit. If you think about Pinot Noir, I mentioned red fruit. Well, in Cabernet, you get a little bit of a darker color, and generally speaking, you have blackberries and cassis and black plums, even black cherries. Most people associate Cabernet with like a big glass of red wine. So, and it's true. Especially when you're thinking about Napa Valley Cabernet, you can often find like this big, rich, intense, oaky, vanilla, almost chewy, just like dense red wine. So, and I wanted to show a softer side of Cabernet. I wanted to pick a wine that was just a lighter style, still staying true to the Cabernet roots, and being like a bigger wine, but not quite as big, in case you didn't want to have it with dinner and you just wanted a glass of red wine at the end of the night. This one is only, which is 13.8% alcohol, so relatively light as Cabernet would go, at least in these times. It's got blackberry and cassis and leather and cedar, and honestly it reminds me of more of a Bordeaux style. It's not Bordeaux by any means. It's not quite as earthy. It's definitely more fruity, but it has that like dusty road earthiness that you might really enjoy, let's say with a ribeye or a piece of like some sausages or a burger. I really like this style of Cabernet, which is a little softer for sure. Thank you so much for taking this road trip to California with me. I really love talking about Sonoma County, Napa Valley, Santa Barbara, and Monterey. Please let us know which one of these wines is your favorite and all of your thoughts on the weekly tasting. Until next time, thanks and cheers.